So what's it been like? First 3 weeks or so back at UCF spring practice. What's it been like?
It's been a blast, man. This is a lot of nostalgia and just guys are working hard. It's been a lot of fun. Still got a lot of work to do, but guys been working hard, and it's really all we can ask at this point.
What's the thing that stood out to you the most about the first 3 weeks with your unit and what the guys have been able to do?
I think just one thing we focus on and harp on is just two things you can always control. That's your attitude and effort. And these guys have come in with the right attitude every day, and they've been busting their butts out there. Still a lot to clean up from all 5 guys in the room, including myself as a coach. But all I can ask from those guys is great attitude, great effort, and that's what they've been doing. So I'm grateful for that.
How has your relationship built with Steve Cooper over camp?
Yeah, really over the last couple months, just soaking in the knowledge that he has of really just football as a whole. He's one of the smartest guys I've been around, just from building our offense to, opening my eyes to kind of a new world and some things that we're doing. And, he's second to none in my opinion, just in terms of football minds. And, he's been a quarterback guy too, so it helps having him, Coach Frost, and myself just kind of put our minds together and figure out how we want to do this thing.
Has any one of the QBs really stuck out so far?
Man, I would say all in their own individual ways. Like each guy is busting their butt and working hard. But like I said, just from an attitude and effort standpoint, they're all doing really good things, but also things they all got to clean up as well. So I wouldn't say one guy in particular has stood out, but each guy flashes, and then each guy makes a bonehead play that we got to clean up. So it's still early in this process, and I'm just grateful for the work that these guys are putting in, and we'll have a chance.
Talk a lot about how the players are developing. You as a coach, you're coming back to UCF doing that. What have you kind of developed and learned and tweaked about your approach here during these opening spring practices?
I just think the biggest thing is, I'm no longer a player, and that's something I've had to learn over the last couple of years. Just, I'm not a peer to these guys, I'm a coach. While there's still a lot of commonality just in terms of, things you might watch or listen to and things like that, at the end of the day, it's a player-coach relationship, but I want these guys to see me as like a big brother, someone they can confide in and things like that. And then just approach, it's the same. I tell these guys every day, just be your best, and it's the same for me. I just want to be the best I can possibly be.
I want to make sure I called you Coach Milton myself.
I appreciate it. Just being our best every day, that's the standard.
Well, what are some of the things you've done to build relationships with the quarterbacks?
Yeah, just having conversations outside of football, end of the day, it's just a game. And, these guys go through things that are hard, a lot harder things than I've gone through. And I won't hit on any details, but guys in our room, they're young men going through some hard things at times. And just letting them know, like I said, I'm a big brother to you. And, if you need something, my door is open always.
It's a long process to get to the starting game, but how do you work with these quarterbacks, since they all come in with different skill sets? How do you work with them to enhance what they can do and also mold your vision of a quarterback for UCF football, what the entire collective needs in terms of running the offense?
Yeah, I think there's a few non-negotiables just when it comes to playing quarterback in terms of just work ethic, mentality, and things like that. But playing the game, everybody's going to be a little different, Patrick Mahomes doesn't look the same as Joe Burrow. Tom Brady doesn't look the same as Michael Vick, but there's different ways to be successful. So us as a staff, it's understanding who our personnel is and how we can make them be successful. But at the end of the day, the locker room's got to look at our guys and understand, these guys are busting their butts and they're going to be a dog when they go out there. And those are just non-negotiables playing the position. So, and then to fit into our system, they got to understand the footwork, the timing of things like that, eye progressions and all that. But, at the end of the day, the team's got to buy into our guys.
With the second portal opening up, the transfer portal opening up later this month, are you guys looking to add another quarterback possibly?
I can't really speak to that at this point. That's happening in a couple weeks, and you put me in a tough spot there. But I really don't want to, in all honesty. But we have 5 guys in our room, and if guys end up leaving, it kind of is what it is. Your hand's kind of forced to have a full room. But if we keep all 5, then that's a full room. So tough question.
The program. You talk about going out with the the coaching and stuff like that, but your role as a recruiter, I know Sean Beckton talked a little bit about being out on the road with you a little bit, recruiting and stuff like that. How much is that maybe something you've had to learn a little bit, or you've used from your own past when it comes to recruiting?
Yeah, at the end of the day, just transparency is the biggest thing with the recruits, and like portal question, like that's something we're honest with our guys. Like if a guy leaves, we have to bring in another guy, and it's the same with recruiting. It's, being open and honest with guys, but the way, college football is set up right now, it's like sometimes you're handcuffed in some of those positions. So just being honest with these guys and just, building relationships. Relationships is always key. I think we're building relationships with the guys right now where, they'd want to stay here because, they're getting developed. They're, they are cared about and things like that. So just, learning from the OGs on staff like Coach Beck, Coach Frost, and learning the tricks of the trade. But at the end of the day, it's a relationship business from high school coaches to players, and then even when it's portal time, it's guys want to come somewhere where they're cared about typically.
The program's trying to get back to the glory days. You were part of teams that really elevated the status of this university and the football program. What's it like for these guys to have you in the room, you did it, and to relate to them, a guy that can tell the stories and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it helps just speaking from personal experience as a player. But that's not what I hang my hat on in terms of just validity when I speak. Coaching's a whole lot different than playing, and I think my journey as a player helped me to get into coaching from the time I got hurt. Helping Dylan, and then my role at Florida State. Helping Jordan Travis. I think it helped me just see things from a different perspective, that you're not always going to be the guy. So those are lessons you got to learn being in a room where there's only one taking it. So. I'm grateful just for the journey God's brought me on, and I'm grateful for, like I said, the attitude and effort our 5 guys have brought day in and day out, because we're not just repping one guy, we're not just repping 2 guys, everybody's repping, and they're starting to feed into each other and helping each other out, so it's been fun to watch.
Coach, what can be said about the acclimation of new guys like Tayven and Cam? I mean, we're multiple weeks into practice at this point. Are you liking what you're seeing from them fundamentally?
Yeah, man, like I said, attitude and effort-wise, they've done a great job of learning the playbook, drawing up plays day in and day out. And then the 2 guys that were here, JB and Dylan, those guys have done a great job bringing them in. And like I said, it's been pleasant to see. I think they're on the verge of all becoming friends, and that's what you hope for as a quarterback having a room, or as a quarterback coach having a room. These guys supporting each other, coaching each other up. Saw a little bit of it out there today, so that's all I can ask, man. These guys are busting their butts when they get their reps. They're maximizing them, and I love my room. I love the 5 guys we got. I really do.
You were here when Coach Beck was here before. Now he's back with you. What's the collaboration between the 2 of you?
You said Coach Beck?
Yeah.
Man, he's the OG. He's got so much football knowledge, and just the level of detail that he dials into the receivers. We got a pretty young group right now, but he's getting those guys ready to go play early. And, just asking him what he's seeing as just a seasoned vet, coaching all positions at one point or another. And, just learning from him day in and day out is all I'm doing. Really from all these coaches, just learning from those guys.
A few more from Tayven Jackson. I know he's one of many guys looking to earn a starting position, but what are his skills and what's it like working with him?
Yeah, he's got a good demeanor about him. 2, he's got a really good release and things like that, smooth and all that. But what he's done a good job is just carrying himself humbly, learning the guys, because it's hard coming into a new place and just earning trust and rapport. And it's the same with Cam, and really it's the same with all our other QBs. They got to earn the trust of these guys as they go. And I feel like as a quarterback, you earn your voice by the way you carry yourself, the way you work, and then the way you perform. So all our guys have done a pretty good job of learning that. And, Tay's done a good job coming in and just adapting to a new place, I think.
How have you seen Dylan grow from the film you saw of him last season?
Yeah, I think he's getting more comfortable with eye progressions and things like that. He asks good questions. He's smart. There's one guy that'll call me at 10 at night asking questions, and, I appreciate him about that, except for when I'm trying to rock my babies to sleep. But he's an awesome kid, super high energy, and we still got a lot of things to clean up, and really all our guys got a lot of things to clean up. But from just learning the offense, all these guys have done a really good job of just picking it up, dialing in their footwork, and I would say it's really for all 5 guys, it's a common thing, just certain details of the offense we got to clean up. But I would say, you know, all these guys in terms of, you know, I keep bringing up attitude and effort of what they're doing. They've done a pretty good job picking up the offense, you know, 8 practices in.
Is Cam Fancher, you know, is he a little bit different? He's the most experienced guy, has way more starts than anyone else. What's it like working with him?
He's awesome, man. He's the same guy every day. Consistent, smooth, and almost like too calm to a certain extent. You want to get a little more out of him, but I'm so happy he's here. And like I said, I love our whole room. Like Cam brings a bunch of game experience, bunch of head knowledge. Like sometimes he's coaching me up on plays, and these guys are asking really, really smart questions, from Cam to JB, Dylan, Tay, Brock. Like these guys, man. Like I know I keep saying I love the room we got, and I love just what they're doing in terms of the detailed questions that they're asking. It gets me excited as a coach. Still got a lot of work to do, but like I said, 2 things that we control, just whether it's quarterback or life, your attitude and effort. And these guys have done a great job adapting to punches being thrown at them week in and week out.
All right, thanks, Casey.
Appreciate y'all. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all.
It's good to see you.
So what was it about UCF that made you want to come here and be a Knight?
Yeah, I mean, right when I got in the portal, probably late December, right after our game against Notre Dame, Coach Frost was the first one to call my phone, and I was like, Coach Frost? I was like, where is he at? And he was like, I'm back at UCF. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Just because the past history I have with Heupel at Tennessee and all the stories about UCF, I just never. It was just a great, it was a crazy experience because all the stories and stuff, and then come to find out I'm gonna be playing for UCF it was awesome. But Coach Frost called me and kind of just built a relationship real fast, and like our relationship was really good in high school when he was at Nebraska. So it was already a great relationship, and I kind of just knew what I wanted from a coach, and he was that guy. So
You get a chance. I mean, you hear that McKenzie was going to come in here and be quarterback's coach. What did you have? I mean, what did that think in your mind when you thought, man, McKenzie Milton, guy who's been here, you know, all this discussed here, now he's going to be the quarterback's coach here?
Yeah, I heard that he was at Tennessee, and then on the phone, Coach Frost was like, "Yeah, I'm bringing in KZ," and I was like, "Well, let's go." I was like, I got Coach Frost as head coach and KZ as a quarterback coach. That's all you need to be an elite quarterback in college football. So, right when I found out KZ was coming here, I was like, this might be home. I visited for about 2 hours and made the decision.
What's it like to watch film in this offense, and he's the one that's running the plays? What's the room like?
Yeah, it's pretty surreal. It's like it's almost like we always like joke around when he makes a good play. We're always like, okay, KZ, like we see you, but it's almost like he was doing this like, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Yeah. So it's good for us to see a coach, you know, playing, and his experience that he gives us is super beneficial to us as quarterbacks because we're running the same offense as he did. So if we have any questions, he knows the answer.
What about this offense works with your skill set?
Yeah, I think this offense is it's wide open for, you know, a skill set like mine. Like, you know, I compare myself to, like, you know, Jordan Love and, you know, Patrick Mahomes. I know that they're NFL guys and they're really talented, but, you know, I bring some of that the same kind of traits as they do. Like when the pocket breaks down, you know, use your feet to create plays and just kind of you're almost out there just, you know, playing ball. Like you're not. They don't teach you. They don't want you to be a robot. They just kind of allow you to play free, and that's what I really wanted.
It's feeling pretty comfortable for you so far?
Oh, yeah. Because the same concepts, you know, college football, every offense, it's kind of the same concepts. You have the same route tree and everything, just different, you know, formations and how you want to run the play. So just being in college for 3 to 4 years now, I kind of adapted to this offense pretty fast.
What's that competition? What's that competition like in the quarterback?
Oh, it's great competition. It's healthy competition. You know, everyone wants to be the guy, and fairly. Like that's what we signed up for. It's great competition. Everyone gets the same amount of reps in spring ball, and you know we'll see. You know who comes out with it, but it's healthy competition.
When you watch the film of Coach Milton doing that, or doing what he does and making that great play, what's something that you've seen in that film that you're like, hey, I want to apply this to my game?
Yeah, it's just, I would say Coach Milton, you know, he was athletic and fast, but the way he processed the game so quickly, getting off reads and scanning the field, that's kind of something that I always ask him about. And he always gives me the right answer, just kind of knowing where you're going with the ball before it's snapped. He brings that. He brings a lot, but he brings that to me. That's the one thing that, you know, I really want.
And is there a particular piece of coaching he's given you to help you kind of transition to pick that up?
Yeah, it's just, you know, when you're at home, you know, walking through the plays, going through the script, you know, you're in the living room, you got this formation, you got cover 2, cover 1, cover 3. This is where you want to go with the ball. This is where the hole shot is. This is where the seams open up. This is where the crossing route is. Like, it's almost like once you rep it in your mind and then you go out and rep it, you know, physically, it almost slows down for you.
How has the last year helped develop you to compete for this job?
Yeah, I just feel like in the past, you know, I've been, you know, the 2 guy. I started a couple of games my sophomore year and then started a couple of games last year when Curtis went down. But, you know, I've always felt like I was ready. But again, that's the coach's decision, and yeah, I'm ready for this moment.
What stands out, or maybe what do you like most about playing in this offense? How does it suit you?
I would have to say, like, just this offense as being a quarterback in this offense, you have a lot of options. You can play anywhere you want to play. It's not you go here with this ball, you go here. It's almost like, look, I'm going to give you the keys. You go out and do the right things, and, you know, learn from your mistakes. But, you know, don't shy away from, you know, pressure. Don't shy away from, you know, holding your trigger. Just let it rip. And that's what Coach Frost preaches, and that's what KZ preaches.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Dylan, what's it like kind of working with Coach KZ and Coach Frost this spring? Coach Cooper.
It's great. Obviously, Coach Kenzie's a legend here. Him coaching us, you know, we get a lot of valuable information from him. You know, he knows his offense in and out because he was here with Coach Frost when he did really, really well. So it's been overall really, really great. Coach Cooper's been really, really good. It's his birthday today, so I hope we had a good practice to make him happy. So yeah, it's all going really, really well.
How have you improved since we last saw you play?
I think I've improved in the terms of understanding the game more. Situational. We talk about being situational masters here, so that's one thing I really want to improve myself on. It's like, what do we want when we're 2nd and 10? What do we want when we're 3rd and 3? So that's something they've really, really emphasized with us, and I'm really happy they're emphasizing that because I need to learn that.
Sorry, Dylan, you come into this season, you played the last 4 games last year. Do you come with this idea of you want to prove yourself to be the starter for this upcoming season?
Yeah, it's been a great competition. You know, all 4. This is probably this has been the greatest quarterback room I've been in since I've been in college. We all are really, really talented. We compete every single day. We make each other better. So I love this quarterback room. We're all really, really good. We're all really, really close. So it's going well, yeah.
You mentioned the competition amongst the quarterbacks. Obviously, one can assume you have more confidence this time last year than certainly this time last year. How has that helped you kind of absorb taking in what the competition is and what you see on the field? How has that made you better in this round of practice?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, getting in those last 4 games definitely increased my confidence playing overall because you never know what it's really like until the lights are on. You know, it's Saturday night. You never know. So it's definitely helped me look at football in a different way than not playing, because when you're on the sideline watching versus when you're on the field playing, it's 2 different things.
So is the quarterback room more so like a competition or like a brotherhood right now?
It's both. I say it's both. I know it's kind of paradoxical, but it's working. We're all behind each other's backs. I know it. Obviously, we all want the job. That's 100%. But we all help each other. You know, we're all supporting each other, and I love it.
The program's trying to get back to the glory days. Coach Milton was a big driving force behind that. Is there storytelling going on in the room? Do you guys ask him about that? Because you're trying to get back to where he was.
Yeah, it's funny because when we watch film, we actually watch him. So, because he ran this offense, so he would show us, yeah, you guys like that ball? Like, it's just kind of funny, you know. So, you know, definitely learning from him. You know, he's the one in the plays. We're watching the film from when he played 5-7 years ago. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely funny watching him play. And then he's like, yeah, do this because I did this. And then we do it. So.
What do you like about the offense the most?
The offense is I love this offense. I picked it up very, very easily. We all picked it up very, very easily. Definitely, trying to get as much stuff as we possibly can in the spring. I think, we're moving through the installs right now. But I'd say one thing I love about this offense is we take shots in this offense. That's one thing we're doing. A lot of takes, a lot of dovers. So I don't want to get into it. I don't want someone to see this. Gameplay against us. So.
What can be said about your own growth? I know you're kind of thrust into the starting role last year. Take me through who Dylan was in that first start against Arizona versus who you are now.
Yeah, that first start against Arizona was, probably remember that for the rest of my life, and that was a great game. Space U game starting, that was awesome. We gave them a good whooping, so I would say that. But from here to now, I've definitely grown as a football player. Obviously, adapting to this new staff, adapting to new players, and because the transfer portal is crazy nowadays, so adapting to 40 new players it's tough. But definitely just going day by day, learning everyone, learning how people react to certain things. That has definitely been a growth in my field. So.
You spoke on the brotherhood between the whole quarterback room. Coach Milton was talking about how he thinks you guys are becoming friends. So what's the chemistry been like, and can you share any fun moments you've had with the guys?
Me and Jacurri have known each other since last year, but all the other guys, we've all have known each other for 3 months? Yeah, 3-4 months, and I feel like I've known them forever. So that's football for you. The brotherhood of football is just different. You're with each other every day. You're waking up early, working out, struggling together. That's where the real brotherhood is created, when you're struggling together, when you're going through things that are hard. So, but we're all getting closer and closer by the day, and we're all competing, and we're having a great time.
Every wide receiver that caught a pass last year has moved on. So tell us about this group. Who's kind of been standing out in the wide receiver position?
I would say they all been standing out. Like I said, we have some injuries there, and people are stepping up. People are taking roles. Obviously there's some people that can run faster, some people that can catch better. There's a lot of things, a lot of traits certain people have. So KYP, we call it know your personnel in place. So, but everyone's doing really well. Everyone's still picking up the offense. We'll only be doing it for about 4 months, so it's a work in progress.
What's your relationship like with Coach Frost?
Really well. It's more of we're boys. Coach Frost is like a player's guy, definitely. Coach Frost is, you can talk to him about almost anything. He'll throw some jokes in there to make you feel more comfortable. He makes you feel comfortable in uncomfortable situations. That's what you want out of a head coach. Relaxed, chilled. So I love Coach Frost. I think he's a great guy.
Dylan, you had a chance. You could have. When the coaching change, what happened? You had a chance. You probably could have gotten the portal if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. What made you kind of decide to stay here? Was it meeting with Frost? Was it meeting with McKenzie? What was the kind of the point that made you realize I want to come back here and continue to do what I've done here, finish what I've been doing here?
Out of high school, I got recruited here to UCF. I don't think that changes with the coaching staff. I love this place. I love Orlando. I love where I'm at. I knew this coaching staff would give me a fair opportunity at competing with this whole starting group. So that's the main reason why I stayed here.
All right, thanks everyone. Thanks,
Dylan.
Last season, Jacurri, so new coaching staff comes in. So kind of what's it been like working with Coach Casey and Coach Frost?
Right, it's been fun. Those coaches, they're really good at coaching quarterbacks, and that's part of the biggest reason why I stayed, is just to come in and they embrace my skill set and just let me be free and play football. Just not a lot of thinking, just go out there and throw the ball to the open guy.
What do you like most about this offense?
The freedom and just the understanding of how it goes as a quarterback go. All of us in our room as quarterbacks, we want to be leaders and we want to have the ball in our hands when the game's on the line. And so with this offense, we go as a quarterback goes, and that's really that helped me for sure.
When Coach Frost got hired, he reposted your offer from Nebraska. What's that connection like
right.
with him?
It's great. Just having that familiarity with a coach like him, that's high on quarterbacks, who's just every quarterback he's had, he's produced, and just reconnecting that connection for sure.
Where's your reaction?
Yourself grows over the past year? Where have you seen the most growth in your game?
Just having confidence. I would say a lot of times in my past years, I didn't have confidence going out there and just kind of just freelancing. But now, it's no pressure. It's just more or less I know what I'm doing. I know my reads. I take the play in my head and I go through here, and then I take the snap, and it's more better just throwing the ball with confidence for sure.
What's your when you get a chance to sit down with Coach Milton? What's that like, and what stands out to you about him and what he brings to the quarterback room?
He's just a very down to earth guy. he understands. He doesn't, he's a younger guy too, so like he'll understand like if you're thinking this. He's like, I see what you saw, but this, that, and other. Like he understands. He won't yell at you or like trying to make you feel like little. He'll probably like build you up, but he coaches you up from a place of love, and like that's what I respect, because a lot of coaches sometimes they might come at you personally or like the way they talk, but it's like certain things, like I can't come yell at a guy that's not, what I'm saying, he's not going to respond that way. Like you got to know how to coach him, and that's the same way with like my teammates, just knowing how to, because he played quarterback, so he knows how to deal with different people on the team and stuff like that. And so like with him, he's just a good guy to facilitate things around him and just make sure everybody's in a calm state of like learning, and you feel confident about what you're learning and what you're doing.
What's it like in the room when you're breaking down plays and stuff and you see him
right
running?
It's kind of surreal, because I'm from Valdosta. I live like probably like two and a half hours away, and so kind of watching that and even being around during the 17 run, when like just seeing that from afar, it was kind of surreal. And then he's my quarterback coach now, and so it's not for him. He shows us film of him running the plays. It is not for him to brag or anything. It's just like what we do and what he coaches, it works, and he's just showing it that it works, and like he emphasizes that. But no, he doesn't toot his own horn a lot. No.
What's something you see in that film that jumps off that tells me, hey, Jacurri needs to do this from now on?
Right. Just anticipation. Coach KZ, he'll tell you now that he didn't have the strongest arm. He wasn't crazy athletic like me. I got a strong arm. I'm crazy athletic. So with him, I take from him just the anticipation, not knowing that I don't have to throw the ball as hard as I can every time. I can anticipate and make throws like just off of knowing what I got to go and just having confidence in making that throw on time.
What's the camaraderie like in this quarterback?
Oh, it's amazing. Me and Tayven known each other since Elite 11, high school. And Cam, he played tight end with, not tight end, but he played at FAU, one of my tight ends that I had at UM. And so we do with all those guys, we just want to compete and we want to be great. At the end of the day, I think everybody in that room wants to win, no matter who's playing quarterback. So ultimately, like, we push each other to be great every day. Like, we talk smack to each other, we boost each other up. Like, we hang out on weekends, we do all types of stuff. Like, I take Dylan fishing with me, or like Brock Hansel, the walk-on quarterback. I'll take him fishing with me and stuff like that. So like, we're all pretty much a family. It wasn't no weird like integration where like I guess outside people might think it's weird about people coming in. We all just want to be great. We want to be good.
How are they at fishing? How are they at fishing?
I would say Dylan, he's all right. He kind of talks a lot. I like the fish and quiet. Dylan, he'll even tell you that. He'll be like, I see fish, I see fish. He like spook it off. Brock's more like outside guy. He's no shoes, shirt off, like cool dude. He's a country guy like me for sure.
Jacurri, you've always had tremendous potential. So what do you got to do to kind of take that next step, and how is this coaching staff helping you get there?
I would say just dive in and first off, I'm going to say trusting in God, just diving into my faith and being stronger with him, because through anything, like, I want to be a great quarterback, but, I need to do the things to do that, but at the end of the day, like, that might not be what God wants me to do, but this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to bring people to Christ through football. I'm a quarterback, so I facilitate a lot of things, so I'm going to bring along brothers with me, and through that, like, I trust God, I have no fear, and just, like today, Coach Frost was like, pressure is the feeling where you don't know what to do. Like, if I step on the field, I don't know what to do. I'm feeling pressure, I'm feeling, like, bad about myself, but for me, it's like being more consistent and, like, making a throw, like, because I can make all the throws in the book, I know that, I believe that, but it's more or less taking every play, every rep, like it's a game rep, and just stacking days on top of each other, for sure, because I know, like, I'm the best in the nation. That's how I feel, but I just got to go show that to you guys and everybody else,
You mentioned your athleticism. A lot of the game plan for you last season was surrounded around your mobility, but what are you seeing from yourself in terms of growing as a passer?
Right. Oh, it's always been there, and even not to harp on last year, it was just a lot of, we didn't have everything together, and there was a lot of talent on the team on paper, and just things didn't work out the way it should have, and I guess, yes, I can lean on my legs and stuff like that, but if you go watch my high school film, I barely ran the ball, and so I got to college and my body filled out, and I turned out to be really fast, so it works out, but for me going forward, being a passer, that's just what I want to do. I want to play in the league. I want to play for a long time, and I know that running the ball and running people over and stuff like that, I can't be doing that, and so it's progressing. And even with Coach Frost, Coach KZ, Coach Coop, all those guys are really good with quarterbacks, and they embrace my abilities, and they embrace the humps and bumps that we got to get through. But I know ultimately it's on my plate to do that and get those things done for sure.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
no, thank y'all. God bless.
Portal last December. I know you started a bunch of games at Marshall, FAU. So what was it about UCF that made you want to come here?
I think just what they're building here with KZ, Coach Coop, and Coach Frost. Obviously Frost, what he's done with quarterbacks in the past, what he's done at Oregon, what he's done at Nebraska, and with KZ. So seeing what he's done with the quarterback play, obviously brought interest to me. along with Scoop having a very explosive offense over there at Boise State. And then KZ being in this offense and knowing the ins and outs of this offense. So, he knows what it takes, and he's been at that level. So, all of that brought interest to me, and I just feel like it was a great fit for me.
How does this offense fit your skill set?
I feel like the way that not only attacking defenses through the air, but also adding the quarterback run play into that, adding another hat into the box where, they have to account for me as a runner. But not only dependent on that, but also, just being explosive downfield and, creating explosive plays, that's what I feel like plays into my skill set.
Coach KZ talked on you guys being snipers out there. How do you feel like the QB room skill set? What are some of the high attributes that you guys have?
Well, I feel like top to bottom, all of us can snipe for sure, including KZ. He gets in there sometimes, and you can still see that he has that zip on that ball. But I just feel like everybody in the room, we all can distribute the ball well. And as we say in the room, we're point guards out there, and we're just trying to distribute it to our guys and our playmakers to allow them to make plays. So I feel like top to bottom, all of us can sling it, all of us can extend, and all of us can make plays. So I feel like that's kind of our greatest attributes, is just we're point guards out there and really can just distribute it to our guys.
We got to hear about how KZ's been on the game film for you guys to watch. What's that like to see him out there, one of your coaches playing?
Anytime you can have a coach that can relate to being out there and actually seeing it through your lens and being on the field and just knowing what the ups and downs are like and just as a whole just really understands and can relate to us. That's a big bonus for us because like I said, he knows this offense in and out, and he knows what it takes to be at the highest in this offense because he's done it before. So having that's always a plus, and love working with KZ.
When you watch that film with KZ in it, what's something you would take from that you would inject to your own game?
Can you say that one more time?
When you were watching the film with KZ on it, what's something you see on it that you would inject into your own game?
I think just how efficient he is with his eyes and feet. Frost harps on a lot too. I think just how fast he can process information as it's being presented to him was the biggest thing that I've seen and the most impressive thing I've seen with KZ. So just how with this position, that's really what it is how fast you can process information. With that information, what do you do with that? And I feel like watching him on film, you can see that a lot. How fast he can get off his first read, his second read, third read. When things collapse, he can get out of it, make something happen. So seeing all of that is just you just try to take bits and pieces of it and try to add it to your game. So with that comes with reps and time. But we're building to try to get that.
What are some of the messages that he's communicated with you guys as a group that's really resonated, do you think, with all the quarterbacks?
I would kind of say what I just said right there. The biggest thing we've been harping on right now is being efficient with our eyes and feet and matching up our eyes and feet with the plays that we have called and making sure our timing's on point and that we're not late. We're not making careless decisions, and we're always making calculated risk when we're taking deep shots and not just throwing it up for grabs, So I think that's been the biggest message.
Elijah was with you at FAU, but how have you tried to develop your chemistry with the other pass catchers?
I think with that just comes time and reps. Spending time with them after, when the cameras aren't out here. Before spring ball, getting those reps to try and make spring as crisp as it can. But with that comes time and reps, like I just said. So just getting as many reps as we can to feel out all the receivers and feel how each one is different, getting out in and out of their breaks, and over time, that'll build and only get better.
How do you feel like it's coming along right now?
I feel like it's coming along. It's practice day right now, so still was trying to feel guys out in the first couple of practices, but I feel like now that we're in practice 8, you're starting to see the execution rise, and guys honing into the details and really just focusing on their job, plan and play out. And when you have 11 guys doing that, that's how you create successful plays.
How wide open does this quarterback competition feel?
All of us are really just competing, taking it one day at a time. And, like I said, the whole room, top to bottom, we all can spin it, we all can create, we all can make plays. Now it's just about being consistent day in and day out and trying to take a step every day.
Cam, you've been a starting quarterback for the last few years, so just kind of tell us about yourself. What kind of quarterback are you? What do you think you do well out there?
I feel like I'm I'm really a field general out there. I feel like not only do you have to respect the pass and the deep shots and the intermediate and the quick game, but you also have to respect me as an escape artist and getting out of the pocket and be able to do some things, and not only escaping just to run, but escaping to create explosive plays for the guys downfield. So I feel like that's what I bring to the table. I'm not just a pocket passer, but I mean, at the same time, my job playing and play out is how can I make this play successful. So whatever I can do, playing and play out, that's what I'm gonna do. If it's to take the check down, I'm gonna take the check down. If it's to take my first read, I'm gonna take it. But if I need to extend and make plays, I feel like I have that capability to do.
That sounds a little bit like KZ, like when he was here. Do you ever, when you're watching his film, do you say, well, that kind of reminds me of stuff that I'd like to do?
I don't want to put it on that type of pedestal yet, but, you know, I feel like I have the confidence and the capability of being able to make some plays when things break down.
A couple more.
Is kind of what's your outlook to, you know, obviously your goal is to earn this starting job. That's kind of why you came to UCF, right?
I would just say, like I said, every day, just trying to stack days and get better every single day. You know, not trying to get 100 or 150% better, just trying to get 1% better every day, and, you know, keep stacking days and just living in the moment, living in the present. You know, life's so short and so precious that I can only live in the moment and you know, just take it a day at a time.
How is your relationship developing with Coach Cooper, with Coach Frost?
I think it's going. It's only growing. You know, like I said, with time, you know, relationships will build. But you know, I think about practice 8, and we're starting to. All the quarterbacks are starting to build good relationships with those guys.
Thanks, Cam. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.